Hello, you're welcome to this broadcast. We are sorry to be some minutes behind time, but all the same, we trust that this is going to be life empowering. If you are a man and you're on this call, you are highly welcome. Or you are not a man, but you have a man in your life, you are very much welcome as well, because that's one of the great things in life, to be able to have a man in your life. Well, for today, we are going to look at a topic that is of most interest to me. This is powerful. And what are we looking at? The indispensable pillars of manliness. Isn't that interesting? The indispensable pillars of manliness. Now, when you are saying that it is indispensable, you are simply saying you cannot do without it. You can't remove these from the list. There is no way you can talk about manliness and then you take away this, because it will be like taking off the pillars from the edifice or from the building structure. So let's go right ahead while some people are just about to join us. It's good for us to just kick off and get going. Now, such words as courage and strength are words that are traditionally used to describe the qualities of the male man. Manliness, to many minds, is about the physical and the physiological characteristics of individual men. Whether you are looking at biological makeup or ideals of qualities traditionally specific to men, all males are masculine in their sexuality. All male men are masculine. They are manly. Well, we know that there are a lot of arguments today because people are coming up with a lot of ideas and proposals. They are propounding new theories. We don't want to go into that. We are just going to focus on those who want to be manly. And they are asking, how can I be the man? How can I be the man? That's going to be the focus of Be the Man. Now, don't forget, we are living in such an era where men in many ways are confused about who they are. There are a lot of challenges economically, sociologically, socially, and the bombardment of the external forces, things you don't have control over, and they are influencing lives. Things that are controlling people's decisions. And in many cases, these are superimposed. They are imposed on people, and they don't seem to have a choice. And by the way, if you are just joining us, this is the voice of Reverend Robert Ntefon, and I am here presenting to you Be the Man. Be the Man. It's so important to be the man. In our last edition, we were looking at the need, or why it is important to have the men. And like you see, as part of our emphasis is that the world needs you. The world needs you as a man. Why do we say that? Go into the families, go into schools. In fact, most of the teachers, even here in the United Kingdom, in many of the schools that I visit, or even our children's schools, many of them, if not most of them, are female teachers. So you see that those that our children interact with, whether men or women, are a lot more of the female folks. It's the ladies that take to such tasks that shape the destiny and the future of our children. And so many of our children don't have the man's figure at home, and they don't have the male's touch at school, and in many cases even at work. It is the women that run the organizations. So it is time to rise up and be the man, because the disaster or the danger of not having a man in the life of our children or in the world is more than we can imagine. Now, the statistics are there to prove that life is not what it should be for a young man in particular who grows up and has no male figure. Now, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect, so you don't even have to blame yourself or think that things have to be perfect before you can see the importance of being the man. What you actually need to do is understand your place as the man and simply be the man. That's what you need to do. You need to understand your place and do your best to be the man that you can be, and then you have done your own part. For the things you cannot do, you don't have to blame yourself. Nobody is asking you to be perfect. Even God is not asking you to be perfect. God has given you a role, has given you an opportunity to be the man. And that's what you should seek to be. Be the man. It's important, like we have said, because in many cases, children have ended up in drugs, ended up in early pregnancy, bringing in younger lives, other children into this world, whereas they themselves, they ought to be looked after. And many of them have a genuine case. There is nobody to look up to, nobody to show them how to live. Now, many of the homes are today run by the women. They are the ones who look after these children. They are the ones who speak as men into the life of your children. They are the ones who speak as women into the lives of the children. Now, how bad can it get? It was so interesting to listen to a woman who is well-to-do. She's not just an employee, she's an employer of labor, comfortable. She has the basic things of life that she needs. But you see, she missed the opportunity to have a man that can speak into her life. And today, she's not just looking for a husband. She says she wants a man so that she can have the man's voice that can speak into her life. How powerful is that? Now, that is one of the millions or billions of women who don't care. Now, they don't care because they don't find one. They don't care because they think it's okay to just manage it, try to survive without it. But it's our place to understand you are not an accident. If you are a male man, you have a place in the destiny, in God's purpose, in God's plans. So we can look at this with all amount of seriousness. It is something that is worth considering. So let's look at the indispensable pillars of manliness, as we have said. Now we need to understand what makes a man manly. We are going to look at what the general views of people are, or what have been emphasized, or some that have been propagated by the press or the media, if I should say. So it's good to understand these things and look again with the purpose in mind. Now, there are pillars. We don't want to give the number. Number one is the physical. I actually wonder what people have in mind when they think of changing from one sex to the other. You are not inferior, neither are you superior to the other sex. The thing you need to know is that you have a purpose, and you should seek to fulfill that purpose. Now, physically, Many men are supposed to be, or manliness is supposed to be based on the physical, and then man is supposed to be more powerful, impressive than women when it comes to the muscles and the building of the biceps and the triceps, and many have today, they define manliness as having the six pack. Now it goes beyond that. Some people say to be a man you have to be macho, masculine, and you appear very strong and tough, and you're not supposed to cry. You're supposed to be more athletic. You are supposed to be competing. But as we continue, you see that that's just an aspect. So if all the emphasis you give is only based on the physical, something is missing. At the same time, I'm one of the advocates. I am also a fan to those who are able to build their bodies and make it strong and healthy. Now, whether you are fat or you are large or you are thin, the most important thing is that you should be fit. You should keep fit. I've seen slim people that are not fit. I've seen people whom you think they are too large for you, and yet they can run miles without feeling it. So what are we looking at? We're looking at being healthy, and able to live and fulfill your purpose. So if you think that what is going to do that for you is to lift weights, play sports, get coaching and lessons, stand by, and when you stand out, learn to stand straight. When you sit down, don't just slouch into the seat. Always be conscious that you are responsible for your physical well-being. Now, that's not something to also blame or wait for the government to fix a program for you, because we live in an era where government has to do everything for everybody. Now, that shouldn't come to your mind. When you are standing before another person, don't try to be the man, just be the man. If you need to get a personal trainer that will help you to enhance your self-confidence, it is very important. And if you are confident, your confidence will show in your physical poise, the way you carry yourself, your carriage, it will show. So it is important for you to care for your physical being. Mind the things that you eat, mind the things that you put into your body, into your system. Now, things don't control your body from the outside, but they get control over you where as soon as they get into your system. If you need to have some models that you have to paste somewhere, put on your desktop. If you have a laptop or iPad, you want to put it there as your wall mat, you can do that and see yourself there. And now develop your strength and enjoy it. That's what I can say about that. That's the number one pillar. I've decided to do that because some people have either over cared for their bodies or have completely ignored their bodies. You need that physique, you need that strength, you need that energy. And of course, if you are living for somebody or for people, if you have your family in mind, you should also understand that you need to stay healthy for them. I have told myself I don't want to be a health burden to my family, and so anything that I can do to stay healthy and be there for them, I want to do it. So that's something that you cannot discount. You cannot undermine it. You can't think that it's not important. It's something to consider in whatever you do. And that means you do not need to destroy your body by injecting chemicals and all sorts of things into your body. You need to stay alive and healthy for your own people. A lot have been said about that. Now, the second pillar is that of being functional. So it's a pillar of functionality. It's a pillar of being functional. Be a leader in the family. and even outside. Assume authority. Now, how do you do that? You don't force yourself on others. Assume authority by taking or seeking responsibility to lead others through your services. If you want to be a leader from home, you don't sit down and all you do is just give instructions and orders. Those were what the colonial masters used to do. But if you're talking about being the man, the man on the spot, you have to be mature. You have to live and show your level of manly maturity. You must be committed to your family by contributing as much as you can. Give yourself to it. Be committed to your, if you have children, to your children. Be committed to your spouse. You know, see what you can do to make sure that your presence in their life makes sense. As the head of the family, with a partner and offspring depending on you, it is manly to make sure that you play the role of a father. Now, the role of a father is multifaceted. If you are privileged to be a father, then you have one head with various hats on your head. You are wearing the hat of a husband, you're wearing the hat of a father, you're wearing the hat of a counselor, you're wearing the hat of a coach, you're wearing the hat of a mentor, a fundraiser. You just have to be there. You have to be a miracle worker. You are the one that will walk on the sea, on the water, when there is need to walk on the water. Be the encouragement. Everybody looks up to you to see if you are discouraged, then everybody will be discouraged. So no matter how bad it is, yeah, from time to time it might get to you, but find a way. There are ways. Make sure you have people that you can talk to who can boost your strength, your confidence again. Make sure you build up yourself. I think we'll talk about that. But whatever, if you have to be the man, you need to understand this pillar. You have to be functional. Now, the response of Jade, to my question on Yahoo, my question was, what in your own opinion defines a real man? And Jed says, a real man in my eyes is someone who stays true to what he believes, is his own person, has goals for himself, looks after his family, supports his partner, respects his partner, is loyal, works hard, someone you can respect, love, trust, and never doubt. That's powerful, isn't it? The way it's going looks like this is what we are going to treat again tomorrow. But let's continue. Now, if you are a husband, we have said some things about that. You are a husband, father, develop and exhibit your leadership. Various definitions of leadership, but the one I like most is being able to get the people to work as a team and everybody doing what he or she is supposed to do. Now, that goes beyond any individual, but we are able to agree on what we have to do, and everybody gets busy doing what they have to do, and they are effective in doing it, and they are happy to do it. That's the ultimate, where you are able to motivate, where you are able to encourage. Some people see the responsibility of being a father as an opportunity to trample, look down upon. Now, if that's all you have to do, maybe they don't need you in their lives. If you need to find a mentor, please do. Find a mentor to learn from. Emulate the manly role. Those that you have as a model, you see them and you admire what's happening in their life. You love the interactions and the progress that is going on in their own relationship. Then you can emulate them. That's another way to do it. Learn from them. Now, you can have some familiar friends who are doing well in their marriages or in their relationships. Learn from them. Don't be incorrigible. Don't grow to the extent where you cannot learn from anybody. That's a dangerous place to be. Or you have seen some famous heroes, even though we have very few of them left. But here and there you find those who are not just making the impression on the outside, but they are also having a strong family life. You can learn from them. But the other side you need to understand is you may not be able to reach them one-on-one, so you might need to make some investment. Buy their materials if they have, or read their biography. Get close to find out their secret. Go to the library, ask questions. But I think the fastest is, get a mentor or get some coaching that will help you to achieve that. I hope you are getting some things down here. Now, if you are with me on the broadcasts, if you want to make some contributions, you can write down your contributions. If you want to ask questions, you want to make a comment, please feel very free to do just that. And the third pillar that I have here is to be it is sexuality. Now, I had mentioned before now that some people tend to be confused. Well, from my studies, from research, we found out that some young people are confused about who they are because they lack the male role model in their lives. And so he's not there to give that touch. You see, when things are not where they are meant to be, if you plant a seed of corn on top of your fridge, it will not grow. It's going to be affected adversely. Or you plant it in a cup that has some earth in it and then put just a little manure. It will try to grow, but it won't be what it should be. And that's the same thing with many people. They are not in the right kind of environment, and so their growth has some defects, has problems here and there. Now, somebody said it is typically seen as manly to be sexually assertive, bold, and experienced, married or single. Well, I disagree. I completely disagree. Because what they have not told us is, where do you get the experience from? Where do you get the boldness from? Where do you get the assertiveness? In many cases, when a young man does not have somebody to groom him, he's likely going to end up in the gang, because they are going to sometimes they open up and welcome him. The idea is to bring in him so that they can groom him to be like themselves. So in many cases, the kind of assertiveness to say to a young man has to be sexually assertive when he's not married, bold and experienced. Where is he going to get that from? So this is something that we have to watch. You will see many of this written on the internet, and people are just saying it and casually. This is misleading, and this is something you need to know. If you are not married, you need to develop yourself. There is something called priority knowledge. You need to understand yourself. I believe we are going to look at that as we progress in this. You need to first and foremost understand what is your purpose. Because like Dr. Miles Monroe says, when you don't know the purpose of a thing, you are going to abuse it. Even so, if you don't understand your own purpose, if you do not have an idea of what your purpose is in life, you are going to abuse yourself. You are going to get into things that are good but are not the right things. You might not necessarily be doing the wrong things, but you will be doing good things that are not right. So it's something to watch, something you need to watch out. So when it comes to sexuality, There are people who are ready to work extra hours. They don't care about how they feel, whether they are fagged or tired, or because they want to fulfill it, because to their mind, they think this is when you are a man. That doesn't make you a man. If you are irresponsible with your sexuality, you are not a man. You are just confused. You need to put yourself right. If your passion is driving you, you need to take the driver's seat. You need to be the one that makes the decision. You need to know why you do what you're doing and why you are, what you are going to get out of it. You don't have to allow anything that God has given to you, whether it's your feeling, whether it's your eyes, your emotion, whatever, to control you. If that happens, it means you've lost control. It means you are not in charge. It means your life is just driven. But you need to be the one that takes the driver's seat of your life and choose the direction that you are going. Okay? So, it is simply misleading to say that manliness is all about sexuality. That's not all about it. Now, if you are single, work to become sexually confident and dominant. That's what another person says. How can you ever, whom are you going to dominate? And the word dominant means that you force yourself. It is misleading. You don't do that. You need to learn to be a gentleman. You know, you need to learn to be a gentleman. That is not going to come naturally. The society is not even promoting that. The society wants you to be impressive, be imposing, walk into a place and you carry the presence. You must always speak with a deep, manly voice. That doesn't make you a man. If you like, let your voice be like the one thundering from heaven. That doesn't make you a man. You need to be in control of your feelings and your passion. You need to be in control of your appetite. You need to be able to control how you feel and how you direct and channel your energy. If you are married, please your partner. Please your wife. Now, you'll be shocked that that is written in the Bible. It says a married man seeks to please the wife, because that is one of the powers that you have even with heaven. If you're always hurting her, whether she calls God or not, it is one of the rules of life that your prayers will not be answered. If your spouse is always bitter and you are happy hurting her because you think you're a man, that makes you to be stronger. There are things you will never experience. There's a level of progress you will never make if your wife is unhappy because of your ruthless way of dealing with her. So pursue sound judgment. Use your logical mind as a man and think what you are doing to somebody's daughter. If somebody does it to your daughter, will you be happy? You just think about it. What you are doing for some other person's daughter. If your father did that to your mother, will it please you if you were watching it happening? These are things that we have to put in their places. So that takes us to the fourth pillar: emotional control. You have to be tolerant and in control. You have to be in control of your own emotion. I think the best way to look at this is to develop your emotional intelligence. You have to be somebody who takes charge of your own emotion. It doesn't mean you cannot be upset about something, but that feeling should not control you and cause you to lose your reasoning. And every time you say they make me, or he made me to do this, or she made me to do this or do that, I didn't want to do it, but they did it, they made me do it. The question is, did they hold a gun over your head? Or were you Were you going to be strangled? Or what happened? Were you forced to do it? It is your choice. So you need to know how you can take control of your emotion. You don't allow your emotions to make you misuse your muscles, misuse your physical strength. That physical strength God gave you so that you use it to protect your spouse, protect your children, be there for them. And then when you show up, things change. God gave you that not so you can bully them, you can punch them, but so that you can be able to protect them the much you can. So stand up for everyone that needs to be stood up for, and then ensure that you lead with your emotion. Now, this will not come naturally. Understand that it's manly to be calm. Give emotional support for those in need, and not be weepy. Knowing when to emphasize and empathize with the other person. Emphasize the feelings of the other person should be given attention to. Now, listen to what Henry said. Henry responded to one of my questions online and said that the real man is somebody that can stand up for everyone who needed that, looks after everyone, isn't afraid to let his truth known. No, he's able to speak out his true thoughts, but knows when it's better to say nothing to avoid upset. Just being there for your loved ones makes a real man. You shouldn't run away from bad situations when you are needed. So tolerance and love, I think that sounds about right. That's my opinion. That's what Henry said. And I think that is powerful. For Henry, if you are a real man, you need to be someone who can stand up for others who cannot do that for themselves. So honestly, critique your own emotional state and tackle your weaknesses in every situation in which you fall short. Now, sometimes that can be difficult, but if you employ the help of your partner, if you have one, or you want to ask your children to give you their honest assessment and ensure that you will not become upset, assure them of that fact and let them give you their honest assessment. You will discover that you're going to make some findings about yourself, you're going to make some discoveries about yourself that will put you over. It will make you to understand what is going on with you and where you need to fine-tune your emotional life. Now, feel the strength that comes from others who look up to you. In other words, pay attention. Be like Joseph. Even though he was in prison, but he was careful to observe how others, were feeling. He was even careful to see what their faces look like. Be there for those who need emotional succor, or for males needing a role model. Now, that's powerful. That is simply powerful. Now, that's one of the pillars. Now, let's talk about pillar number 5. And this is intellectualism. Your intellectual side. It's a pillar. Now, every time people talk about men being logical and intellectual, rational, objective, practical, and not overly emotional, it's a plus. It's a plus. Even though as men we need to also delve into the side of our brain that allows for creativity. But the fact that you are able to be very logical, you treat things on their own merit, sometimes without linking them up to the others, it's a plus, it's not a minus. However, you need to also learn to tap into the creative side of you. You need to also learn to pay attention to the emotional side of life, so that you take care of people that are around you and they are happy to have you in their lives. Develop your logical skills. Don't just reason one way and refuse to broaden up your knowledge. Join a debate team if you have to. Take maths classes. I mean, that's one thing that men are very good at, even though women are coming up to that. But many men are, most times it's the men who stand out in mathematics. It's rare to see women who are good and that exceptionally good in mathematics. Approach decisions and problems objectively, and don't give in to emotional pressures or psychological pressures, things that will make you to be a poor judge. Tackle problems with disposition. You know, be very interested in treating the things appropriately, and that's a pillar. That's a big plus. Now, as I have said before in other at other times, one of the things you may wish to do is get a coach. You have life coaches. You have, there's hardly one thing in life now you want to do, you cannot find a coach. So you can get a coach or get a mentor, somebody who is able to show you how to arrive at that. And one word I like using when it comes to that is borrow. Borrow the confidence you're looking for. If you don't have confidence, if you lack self-confidence, if you lack that assertiveness, you can borrow it. And one of the ways is read a good book that is going to show you how that, or take a course, or get coaching, or get some mentorship. Get on a program that is going to help you do that, or join one club that is like a public speaking club. It's going to bring you out and kill that intimidation and fear of standing before people. Pillar number 6, interpersonal skills. I think this is most needed for you to be the man. And more than ever before, we have come into the era of individualism, an era where individuals seem to be more powerful than institutions. Why am I saying that? Because individuals who know their worth are the ones who make the institution what it should be. So some individuals who have an understanding of what their place is in those organizations, when they pull out, they create a vacuum that is difficult to fill up. And so in our time, many people prefer to work as consultants or partners and not as subjects or employees. Those who are still doing the employees will, maybe in a matter of time, get to discover that they deserve to be treated as consultants or experts in their field. And what will happen to your organization? So you need to learn interpersonal skills, and do that fast. Learn what it is like to work as a team, to build a synergy. I like that mathematics by Steve Covey. 1 + 1 is 3. 1 + 1 should be 2 normally, but 1 + 1 is 3 because you are still having your abilities and the other person still having his or her abilities, and when you come together you produce another ability that makes it the third ability. You bring a team together that is producing a result or having the strength that no one person can produce, and that's it. So you need to have that ability. You need to develop it. It's an art. You can learn it. No one person is born with it. Yes, some people may have that tendencies and have the environment to grow and learn how to have interpersonal skills, but it's something you can learn. A man's 6th leadership role. Well, maybe that's what it used to be, but in our time, some men run away from leadership role. Some, not all, but most men still seek leadership roles. And to be able to enjoy it in our day, you need to learn about interpersonal skills. What works in our time? Believe me, if you are using the same style that people were using 10 to 5 years ago, I can predict you will fail. Why? No one wants to be controlled. And more than ever before, new companies are rising up, new things are being done because individuals have found out they can do it on their own without necessarily being in any organization or setup. So you have to, once again, get into some kind of structured learning. Let it be personal. Let it be something that you have seen the importance of it. Let it be something that you do it because you know the value. It's not the one that you are compelled to do it because you belong to a particular society or because your organization says you must go for this training. No, it is a personal, voluntary, a deliberate voluntary training that you submit yourself to have. It's a coaching that you are allowing yourself to be given because of the result you want to produce. So you have to allow somebody to guide you. You have to allow somebody to discipline you so you can be that disciplinarian that will be able to succeed in our time. Don't want to be a guy, don't want to be a role model when you don't have no understanding of what is happening in our day, because you're going to deal with people. Now, we like to be independent. We like to be individualistic. Now, the way you are feeling is the way many millions of others are feeling. They want to do their own thing. But is there a way you can bring these people who want to do their own thing to be happy to do their own thing with you? Because every time, two good heads are always better than one good head. Men often are demanding, manliness is self-satisfied and self-satisfying. We want to take charge, control things, and feel like we are the ones in control. It doesn't work in nowadays. And can I say that is one of the explanations, that's one of the things that explains why many marriages, even in the circles that you should expect them to succeed, will not succeed. Because the education we are having now is exposing people to a lot more possibilities, things that could be possible that we were never taught. We were never taught these things. We couldn't even imagine it, but in our time, these things are opening up. We live in the era of information. So you can't keep it away from people, because right wherever they are receiving it from their phones, their iPad, and name them. So you cannot block that from coming to your spouse. Or if it's not getting it from the phone, it's getting it from the place of work. It's discovering that he or she can decide to do some things on her own or his own. So be the man. Be the man that understands how to allow people to be the best they can be. Why? Because you have created that environment for them. Now listen to what Claire said as a response to my question of who a real man is. He says a real man is someone who is not afraid to admit how he feels, whether it's emotional, happy, hurt. A real man is someone who sticks by his word, or sticks by his word, doesn't lie, supports you, or cannot fathom hurting you, comforting, sweet, honest, supportive, someone who is always there for you through thick and thin. There are many things that can't define. There are many things that can define a real man. The first will go on. Finding them is a problem. So, if finding them is a problem, don't you even see that you become in demand just because you are the man? You are the man that has that pillar of interpersonal skill. You are that man that it doesn't matter what happened, you are stable. People can confide in you. They can take your word for it. I mean, they can take your word to the bank. Now, don't just seek to be a leader. Like we have said, let your leadership role, whether it's in your organization, whether it's at home, let it be the leadership that stands out because you enjoy serving. Win it by service. Win it because you are confident about what you can do, or how you can empower others, create an environment for them to be the best they can be. Project confidence and do not seek to the approval of others. If it will take them not approving you, but you are doing the right thing, please develop yourself so you can be able to do that. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We can look at other things, but let me quickly take these other two, and by the next segment of this conference call, we'll be able to look at this, and that is know yourself. The pillar of self-awareness. The pillar of self-awareness. Many people go into so many good things that are not right because they don't even know their purpose. And so they go into diverse things that are good, but they are not right. Not right for them, not expedient, if I must use the Bible language. Understand that all men in all culture may have to some extent been socialized in ways that may be physiological and culturally damaging. There are people who go into things, they do things that eventually, or even in the present, it has damaged them, but they are doing it because it's a cultural thing. It has destroyed their relationship with their maker, but they do it all the same because it has become institutionalized. It has become part of their culture. And at such times, you need to cut yourself out for a new knowledge, a new paradigm, which means you have to expose your mind for some new ways of getting things done, and allow those who have that ability to help you do it. And then it says, and to be able to do this, you need to get into the mind of your maker. To be able to discover your purpose and fulfill it without necessarily allowing the culture from which background you came from to destroy you, you need to tap into the mind of God. And secondly, you need to also examine the environment in which you were raised. And you need to do that as objectively as possible. Be very objective. Allow others to help you if you need to. Allow some expert who is there to help you. Now, if you don't even know yourself, how will you be able to introduce yourself to others? If you don't know yourself, how will you know when you are going to things you shouldn't? So become a lot more aware of yourself. It's not just having beards. It's not just, having the muscles and looking strong and tough and macho. That doesn't make you a man. We have said that before. And last and not the least, we'll look at this again, but we need to just mention this. And that is your spirituality. This is the most powerful pillar, your spirituality. And why is this most powerful? It's because we are talking about your source. If you uproot the plant from the earth, the process of death has started automatically. It may not die, it may not wither right away, but the process of death has started. Same with bringing out fish from the water. That is their natural habitat. So man that is uprooted from his contact and connection with his maker and is uprooted, the process of death starts automatically. So being connected to your maker, paying attention to your spirituality, to feed your spirit and your soul. In fact, this physical world is controlled by the spiritual. And so when you lose touch with the spiritual life, you are floating. You are like a cotton wool. You're like a balloon that is blown to and fro. But you're not designed to live like that. You are designed to stay connected. And that's why when Jesus taught about the Father in heaven, he said, when you pray, say, our Father. And that word, our Father, simply means our source. So when your spirituality is in place and you stay connected to the God of heaven, you are staying connected to your source. It doesn't matter the circumstance you are in, it will come through for you. Well, I think this is just the right place to stop, and we have just few seconds to go. But I like to appreciate you if you were able to make it. And for those who are trying to log in to the conference call number, if you had any problem, I'm so sorry about that, but I'm sure that this is going to be a blessing to you. That's why we had to record this. So you have this on this video. Feel very free to share it with your friends. And God bless you. Look forward to seeing you in the next broadcast. Thank you, and God bless you.